This is Andrew from DeFiancy. All right, guys, we're just going to jump into this. This Wednesday, November the 1st, about 7:20 a.m. pre-session, and the market is doing pretty much what we thought, what we talked about yesterday. We did get a reaction off of that 42.10 level. Not quite the reaction I would want to see, so I actually have already cut that short, and we were in profit on it. I thought we'd get a better reaction out of that so far, but that's okay. We'll take what it gives. And now we're just going to kind of observe, because when it comes to FOMC, and I really want to emphasize this, like I've had to learn this lesson several times. Do not go into FOMC already positioned unless you have a really good position. Meaning, unless you long down here at like 42 or 41.20, or you're like short up here or something, I would not go into this with a position already. The reason I say that is because this is when you get really big movements in price. I wish I had pulled up maybe last FOMC, but you get really wonky stuff that really, if you're not, if you don't scalp trade every day, if you're not a professional scalp trader, it's probably not going to be something you're going to want to be part of, especially if you're new. So I just want to throw that out there. Like, the best thing to do, honestly, is to wait until after FOMC. So you get basically this is how it's going to go today. You're going to get the FOMC initial rate hike or policy rate decision, which is probably going to be no hike. That just comes out like immediately, and then you have like a buffer of time. It's like 30 minutes or something, or 15, where you wait for Jerome Powell to speak. This is going to be at, let me pull up my calendar. This is going to be at, where are we at? Okay. So at 1, my time, which is like 12 Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get the policy rate decision. Boom. Market's going to go crazy, react for a minute, and it kind of just like bounce out. And then you get your real movement, if we are indeed going to move today aggressively, is going to be after or during this press conference, because they're going to ask him questions. The press is going to ask Jerome Powell questions. Highly advise that you at least wait till that point to really get into a big position. Now, if you're scalping little positions like throughout, the volatility throughout the day, that's different. I'm talking about people that are like swing trading this. Like, you really want to be careful, because you can get really underwater really quickly, because you can move 100 basis points. Just in minutes, and then it comes right back. You get stopped out and it comes right back to your entry. That's what happens oftentimes during these events. Now, one thing I want to point out is this U.S. JOLTS job openings. This is going to be huge, believe it or not, and this is going to come right after the open, 30 minutes after the open. And you also have these manufacturing data, which it's highlighting that in yellow, but that might even be equally as important, to be honest, or maybe not equally important, but very important for how the Fed is going to be operating over the next few months. So we have some key data points coming out that's going to probably provide some volatility or just movements in general. And I'm going to show you guys kind of my plan today. So we talked about this yesterday, but I really just do not believe that the market is going to want to move higher very easily. So I'm going to kind of put this as a temporary top here. Don't get me wrong, I think it can. If you get negative job data that makes it seem like basically we're slowing down in the U.S. With that JOLTS data, I wouldn't be surprised if it went ahead and moved up. But if that comes in line or hotter, this is going to want to stay down here, in my opinion. But let's just go over the scenarios of if you do get softer data in JOLTS, or something happens with the FOMC that makes the market go crazy in a positive way. I'm thinking you could possibly you could come up to like this 42.50 area. There's a lot of confluence here, and you also have this 200-day moving average. Highly, highly, highly doubt that you're just going to break that on your first try. So if you get anywhere in here, you got to be looking for a scalp short, in my opinion. Conversely, if we do start to come down, the places where you're going to want to start to take some profit, in my opinion, is definitely by the time you get to 41.60, you have to be looking at taking profit, and certainly at this 41.50, really this area here. And then your last line of support is really like this 41.40 area, or you could double bottom here. I just don't think you're going to break that easy either. I mean, you're really going to need some scary stuff, and don't get me wrong, based off of the last few weeks, maybe we do get some really scary stuff. You got a lot of stuff happening in the macro world with the Japanese won versus the dollar. Maybe we'll go into that before the end of the video, but these are the levels I'm looking at, and then this is like the ultimate last level of support. You break down below this, and it's Goblin Town. Like if you were to break below this and stay below it, that's a huge put support wall. You break below that, market makers are gonna dump the underlying, and I mean it gets pretty bad, I think, if you don't hold this level. So these are the key levels. We're gonna be talking about this all day in the Discord as we approach these levels. We're gonna be looking to scalp. Okay, so let's move on here. I don't want to make this video too long. Crude. So we gave a signal last night, late last night. Hopefully you got in. We gave a long signal at about 81.50. It has ripped off that level. And the reason why we gave that signal is because we saw that Yemen had declared war on Israel. And I see crude oil just absolutely wrecked down here. That's an opportunity I like. Now you could go ahead and probably take profit if you were just in for the scalp, or maybe you can hold it for further upside. But that's an individual's decision there. I really don't have. I mean, it could be a good long. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. When it comes to crude, I just see that there's a good risk reward for a small period of time. That's how I'm looking at it now. Meaning, I'm looking at this from a scalping perspective, and that looked like a really good scalp long, and indeed it was. So, will it go higher? Maybe, maybe not, but that's not really what I'm here to talk about, or that's not really what my game is. I'm not trying to predict the future. I just see imbalances and asymmetrical opportunities that probably will last for small periods of time or short periods of time. They call this scalp trading, and that's really what my game is. So, kudos if you got into that one, and if it comes back down, maybe we'll talk about reloading and trying that one again. Gold. Let's talk about gold. So this one was, oh man, I tried to scalp long. So I had actually a really good trade on this yesterday, a couple of them, and ended up getting stopped out because this one got wrecked yesterday after the dollar started going up. And that's how we're going to really finish this video. Well, we're going to talk about crypto at the end, but we're going to talk about the dollar after this. But the dollar responded to, gold responded to the dollar. Well, I guess we're going to have to talk about that first, so it makes sense. The dollar is printing what I call a get ready, I'm about to blast off signal. I mean, when you see this kind of consolidation, absorption, I mean, you're in trouble. I say that in pretty much every risk asset is going to respond to this negatively. When the dollar is headhunting, and when I mean headhunting, when it's going up, I mean, it is destroying people. It's destroying Japan. It's destroying other countries. It is a wrecking ball. It really is. And as this thing goes higher here, it is not going to be good for stocks. I can almost guarantee that. Doesn't mean that stocks will crash, but they're not going to like that. And gold doesn't like it either. Now, gold had been kind of, weathering the storm, so to speak, for a while because it was going sideways. But now, it was going sideways. But now it looks like it's going to break out. And, look, we're going into FOMC. We're going into this JOLTS data. We're going into NFP. It almost is like the dollar knows where it's going. Now, can it just go up and then crash? Sure. That would be amazing if it were to just give us a fake out, come up to 107.2 or something, and then just boom, crash. That would be great for risk assets. But we don't know that. Right now it looks strong, and you have to take it serious. Right? If someone pulls a gun out on you, you have to take them take it for face value. That's basically what this is. This is the market pulling a gun out on everybody saying, I'm going to shoot you. I mean, if this thing starts to blast off, and everybody's going to pay attention to it, it is a big deal when it starts to rally. All right, gold. So the reason why I wanted to go into the dollar first is look how gold reacted yesterday. So it tried to break out. It came up to roughly 2020, and it just nuked. Why? Because the dollar was looking strong. And one thing I want to point out here, one of the reasons why the dollar is going up, it's not just because of FOMC preparation. Excuse me. It's because of the Japanese yen. It's getting wrecked, and I'm not a Forex guy. I'm not even going to speculate on exactly what is happening here. I just know that the Bank of Japan is having issues with its financial system. And yeah, basically I think they have to buy dollars as it goes up, and it's kind of like this flywheel snowball effect. But yeah, so that's really the hot topic in the macro world right now. Let's talk about Bitcoin. We're going to finish this video off with Bitcoin. Look, if there's one asset that will disappoint you in the low time frame, it is crypto. When people ask me, they're like, "Which crypto should I trade? I want to day trade crypto." I say none of them. Seriously, it's just not a good asset to day trade. Like if you were like you can trade this stuff, but the problem is these daily moves, they're not volatile enough. And I mean, it's just chop. And yeah, if your fees were really low, you could actually day trade this, but they're not. If you go look at any brokerage, or I'm sorry, any crypto exchange, whether it's in DeFi or CeFi, I mean, they just suck. I mean, in terms of the fees, like you're going to pay hundreds of dollars in fees to trade. So I just don't recommend people trade this. I recommend that, look, when you get a dip, you buy and you hold. So maybe I'm old school. Maybe that's not what you want to hear, but it's just not a great thing to trade. Do some people trade it, and are they successful? Yeah. And I used to trade it a lot, almost like primarily. We would trade Bitcoin. This was like 2021, but it was volatile. It did not do this. Bitcoin is trading much differently than it used to, and at some point we're going to return to its former glory days of trading. Probably after this ETF goes live, and you actually have real money, real trading firms that are large, that are trading it. It's going to be more volatile. You're going to get more movement. And that's what we want to see. But until then, I just say, look, buy the dips. You can swing trade it, but in terms of intraday, it's just not really on my radar. All right, guys, that's all we really got for today. We're going to jump in the Discord and start looking at some plays here, specifically on ES. Oh, this looks like, by the way, it looks like it's already back up to the high here from yesterday. So maybe looking for a short opportunity if it starts to get some absorption up here, but we'll be in the Discord. And until next time, friends, happy hunting.